Hello, SpeedGaming, and welcome to this broadcast of the Castlevania 1 speedrunner for the NES Classic Speedrun. We have the world record holder, Tusnek, against Daikena. I am Mind of Me, and I am joined by... I'm sorry, I should have asked how to pronounce your username.
Hashtag cats is probably what I go by mostly.
All right. This is classic speedrunning. It's a super optimized run, and yeah, we've got the world record holder Tusnek in this tournament, which is super exciting. So they are about to start resetting, and time usually begins when you get control of Simon, but we're going to start as soon as they hit start. So tell us a little bit about these, about the speed run, and why is it so optimized, and what makes this one special?
Yeah, so I think I don't know. So I never really played this as a kid, but I kind of started watching speedruns maybe 3 or so years ago. But from what I've heard, this game was really tough when you were a kid. But as a speedrun, there are a lot of ways to use like taking damage and using different items to really speed this game up. So this is going to be one of those examples actually that probably no kids ever played. But they're just going to jump on this bat here, and they skip a whole room underneath. So that's like a cool little trick that, I don't think anybody probably like learned as a kid or as a casual runner. But this run has a lot of really tight tricks in it. Like I was saying before, damage boosts to kind of skip sections. And then you can see right here, Tusnek got it. That's the bat crit. So when you take damage at the same time that an enemy deals damage to you, you can do a lot more damage. So he was able to hit that bat at exactly the right time to basically just kill it instantly. And he didn't have to fight it, which is a huge time saver there. So yeah, so both getting level 1 pretty easily. We saw Tusnek got the bat crit, so he's a little bit ahead here, but still pretty close at this point.
And after the bat level, we are into the infamous Medusa section. Absolutely the bane of any time you did play this as a kid. You had no idea these Medusa patterns. The concept of a lazy chase was foreign to us.
They make it look so easy, and honestly it is. I've played this game a couple of times. As long as you just keep walking and you've started on at the right moment, like, you don't have to worry about them. But I remember, the first time I played it, you try to kill them and they're just like flying every which way, and it's just so hard.
So what makes the difference for a really strong finish in this level? Is it the boss fight again? Is there another damage boost on the Medusa?
Yeah, so this boss fight I think is actually one of the easier ones in the game. I think a more recent strat is to do a crit on the Medusa, but overall, and this is like one of the themes of this run, you just use the holy water to stun her in place, and then you just hit her until she's dead. So that makes this boss look really easy. And so there's not anything like too crazy. So I think we saw Tusnek did do the Medusa crit, but I don't think it saves like it's not like a super necessary, it doesn't save like a crazy amount of time. Yeah, so this I think is one of the harder levels in the game. So you've got those little flea men, and they're jumping every which way. And then once you get on this screen, if you fall into any one of those pits, which, you know, any enemy can knock you back into them, you'll die. You'll just instantly die. So this I think is the hardest level. I don't know if I've ever gotten past this level when I've played. So I'm mostly a spectator, if we're being honest.
It really is a bit of a gauntlet as you progress through, you know, the original Castlevania, because guess what? Every time they introduce the enemy, that enemy sticks around. So now you're dealing with the bats and the Menuzas and the mummies and your shooting skulls. It's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, definitely. And the birds and the skeletons who throw bones and but it is really interesting. This game, you know, all of these patterns are seemingly random, but they're really not. And so they're all working on like different patterns, you know, based on what frame you're on or when you're jumping and hitting people and what item you've got. So they're able to get through here really smoothly because like they know that pattern. You know, they're jumping at the right time, or they're you know, walking through on the right frame and stuff like that. So, and yeah, that was a really quick fight for both of those. So they're really close right now. So you can see, I think Two Snack is just a little bit ahead on that timer, but overall, really tight match.
This, as we said before, this is a super optimized speedrun, and oh, that's a cool effect. The map almost looked like it was scrolling from one screen to the next. Two Snack world record holder, time of 11:22, and Daikena actually has a really helpful guide to running Castlevania. Is 41st in the leaderboard, but only 28 seconds behind at 11 minutes 50.
Wow, yeah.
It's an incredibly competitive category, which you'd expect for, you know, number one, the game has been around for so long. And yeah, it's once you get to the top 10 on the leaderboard, it's a matter of milliseconds separating everybody.
Yeah, it is really, it's really tight. Whenever there's a new world record or a new, you know, expected record, it's always like, I think this is close, and then they go and they count the frames to see if it really is, which is crazy. It's just so fast and it's so optimized that, you know, a few frames could get you the world record or could get you, you know, up on the leaderboard. Yeah, so this here, I think this is one of the... Ooh, Two Snack might take a death here. Oh my gosh, he just pulled it out. So that was kind of scary for a minute. So in that level, we've got the Frankenstein with his little, I think it's just like little Igor on his shoulder. And so the ideal is that you keep him stunned with the holy water, and that little guy never gets to escape. And if he does, he kind of like jumps around and shoots fireballs and, you know, generally causes chaos. And he did let him escape, so that was a little dicey there, but he was able to make it through.
All right, on to the penultimate level, Death itself. You know, gotta defeat Death before you gotta defeat the Undying.
And Death, I think, is, well, maybe besides Dracula, is the scariest boss. If you don't kind of cheese him with the speedrun strats, he is really terrifying. So they both got the safety meat there. So in this game, there's a few places where you can get some extra health, just meat in the wall, as you do in a castle, I guess.
As you do, yeah.
Yeah. So they both grabbed that to get a little security, I guess, there.
It makes sense. These are all often race strats, and so you'll see sometimes different strats in a race as opposed to when you're going for PB attempts. I mean, number one, you don't reset during a race, so you just gotta make do. So it's all about getting the extra health, getting the extra meat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think that's one of the ones that, makes a lot of sense to do in a race, of course. Because it, maybe takes a fraction of a second, but, a death is going to take you so much longer. Whereas on a PB run, you just reset and move on and with the next one, but...
Yeah, this tournament is, each set is a best of 3. We're in the group stages right now. So there's every runner gets 3 runs against their group mates in the best of 3, and that's gonna move on to the 16-person bracket. As Tusnek, on his way into the death fight, gets that damage boost.
Nice, easy.
So both did it. Tusnek looks like they're gonna go and head in to the final level, little bit ahead of Daikena.
Yeah, still really close though. Honestly, one mistake could really change it at this point. So we'll see. And I think this level can be a place where, a little mistake could hurt you, and then of course the Dracula fight can go fast or slow or very wrong pretty easily. So I think that's definitely the hardest part of this run. As a spectator, that's why. Yeah, so they're gonna take a lot of... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the famous clock tower stage, the staple of all Castlevania days. Here's the OG, and you can see the nest chugging a little bit with all the sprites on screen with the birds and the bones and everything.
Yeah, a little hard for it.
Alright, final claim for Tusnek, about to enter his Dracula fight.
Yeah, so one thing that's cool about this one is that, and I think it's, in the past several years, but they found that if you just walk straight into this room, then you'll guarantee, like, the first pattern for Dracula. So you'll see them all kind of just walk straight and hit all those candles and pick up those items, and then that'll make it a lot easier for them to fight Dracula, because they'll know where to expect him. Yeah, so he's got two stages. So the first stage is the regular Dracula, and then he turns into this little blue guy who is affectionately called Cookie Monster. And I think the second part, is a lot easier because they're just stunning him in place and whipping him over and over again. But nice.
And that was time for Tusnek. He had an official race time GG time of 12:01. Daikena right behind at 12:17, and we will get race 2 underway shortly. Get some GGs in chat for them. So yeah, it's I did say that Tusnek has the 11:22 for his PB and world record, but under a race, you're trying to play it safe. You came close to death at a couple places. Took a little bit of extra time, and this is just such an optimized run. There is so many opportunities for time loss and only frames for time gains.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he did almost take that a death on the Frankenstein boss, which would have really put him behind, so that was pretty close there.
So this is Group A. Unfortunately, it's one of the underpopulated groups. The third runner in this group is Cantaloupe Me. Who Daikena raced yesterday and took the best of 3 win. Cantaloupe Me has an 11:51 on the leaderboard, so really just behind Daikena.
Yeah, it's really crazy how close the times are on this leaderboard. And then in a race, I think that makes races really exciting since there's not a clear, obvious winner. Like you said, anything can happen in a race, and without using the world record strats, I think it makes it even closer with the times. So.
All right, and we are off into race number 2. We'll get the timers synced up in a moment. It's one of those things, again, where I had mentioned it, that usually during PB attempts, you'll start your timer at -9.5, which accounts for the cutscene time. So time actually starts when you get control of Simon. But for this one, just to make it simple, they start time when they hit the start button. And again, getting through those same levels, getting the damage boost to pick up that first weapon.
Ooh, so Tusek had to do a little, he had to kind of avoid the first spat, so he's a little bit behind, I think, but he did make the next spat boost.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that he didn't get it on the first cycle. That does give Daikena quite a bit of an advantage going in.
Yeah. Ooh. This is looking a little dicey for Daikena here. Oh, just got it out. Nice. Just had 2 little bars of life left, but... And then Tusek with the back crit, so he really caught up. So I think we're a lot closer again. Tusek maybe just a little bit behind, but Daikena kind of losing that bat and letting it fly around a little bit, and Tusek getting the crit really kind of closed that gap.
Yeah, we're about 2 seconds now going into Medusas. Again, looking for just optimal movement. It's a bit more of a platforming challenge than anything else in this level. Not quite as much as Clock Tower, but like you had said before, as long as you keep walking, the Medusas won't hit you.
Yeah, it's really, it's crazy how easy they make it look when you're playing it yourself. It's like, I feel like those Medusa heads can hit you from anywhere.
Both of them getting the damage boost to skip a bit of the platforming section. And into the boss fight. Almost.
Yeah, so this so the stopwatch that they had really makes that section, much easier. So normally it's got those crushers that are crushing at different rates, and you have to kind of time it right. But with the stopwatch, you just stop it when they're up and just walk through really easy. And then they're able to grab the holy water, which is really the MVP of this run in terms of the weapons.
Essential for pretty much all of the remaining boss fights.
Yeah. So Tusek, I think, just missed the crit there on that, but he was still able to defeat her.
Okay, it looks like Daikena maybe has increased his lead by a couple more seconds, going into Mummies. So what do you think, if you're cheering for Tusek, what are you looking for? Is it just a matter of Daikena making a mistake at this point, or is there some extra time that Tusek can make it up?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I think if I had to guess, I would guess that you know, Tusek kind of probably knows where he's at. Maybe knows that he has to catch up some time. So, you know, he may be able to just kind of adjust his strats a little bit from, you know, the safer race strats, I guess, to maybe some of the more risky ones that he thinks he can pull off to try to save a little bit of time. So that might be where, like, you know, some of those world record strats maybe would come into play, maybe the safer ones, just to see if he can, you know, make up a little bit of time and clinch this race. But honestly, I wouldn't mind it going to 3 races. I think it's
I mean, for sure. This is some high quality speed running content right here. This is great.
Yeah, don't tell him I said that. Hopefully he's not listening.
Okay, Daikena entering the mummy fight. Tusek coming in just like, again, about 2 seconds behind, so I think really some more optimal movement. Got some time on there, and they both get the quick kill.
Yeah, so still really close. So yeah, just counting down the time at the end. So at the end of the stage, it will count down your hearts that you have and then the time. So they'll always try to end the run with no hearts to save that little bit of extra time. So every extra heart they have will be, you know, some number of frames. I don't know the specifics, but
so really, you know, not only are the damage boost strats on the boss quicker just to kill the boss, but it also saves those ending frame counts.
Yeah, so it looks like Daikena missed the cave skip, so that will save, so that'll lose him some time. So it looks like Tusek's pulled ahead. So in that section, you're able to, if you're able to freeze the bat in the right spot, you can damage boost into the ceiling, into some like invisible or hidden, I guess, blocks, and then skip that whole fairy section where you have to wait for the fairy to come, and you have to jump on it, and then you have to ride it all the way across. So I think Tusek's taking the lead now, but it is still really close. Yeah, just getting to that door slightly ahead.
Anything can happen in a 12-minute speed run.
Yeah, right? You wouldn't think in such a short amount of time, but
if anything, it just means that, you know, your mistakes are punished that much harder, especially since this is so competitive. And it also means that some of those riskier strats really pay off. And no problem on Frankenstein for Tusek.
oof.
Oh my god! Oh no!
Just making it through with one little heart or one little life. That was dicey, but he was able to pull it out. That was scary.
Yeah.
Anytime that little Igor gets loose is so scary.
All right, Tusek on to death level. Pretty firmly in the lead here. Well, we'll see how he holds up through here. Like you said in the first race, that this is one of the most difficult levels with the jumping skeletons and the bones.
Yeah, this is one of those levels where, you know, as we're just watching it, it's kind of hard to tell, you know, like, where are they losing time, where are they gaining time, but there's very little things like, you know, which bone do they jump on? Is it the fast one? Is it the slower one? So it kind of looks maybe less exciting, but
they both did go for the safety meat once again. And yeah, get some sour pleases, get your cat jams in chat for this soundtrack. It's pretty fantastic.
It's so good. Yeah, it's really, really good. So Daikena has a very small amount of life, so that could be a little bit scary.
Is it worth the time for him to whip a few extra candles?
So in this game, you know, contrary to what you might expect, the hearts are just ammunition to your life. So the only way to get life is or ammunition
the meat.
to your weapon.
Yeah.
So the only way to get life is that meat. So he's kind of stuck with the life that he has right now, but that's gonna mean that he's gonna be taking these slower. He also doesn't have the holy water. I guess I was not paying attention. But yeah, so he's having to take this really slow without the holy water. So that's definitely...
Oh, that is unfortunate. And Two Snack takes out Death on his way to fight Dracula.
Oh no. I came with the death.
Oh no, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Oh. To restart this level from the checkpoint, Two Snack making his way over the top of the castle. How to get into that all-important clock tower.
Yes, so watching Daikena's screen, you can kind of see how strong the holy water is against some of these enemies. Like, I think these knights take an absurd amount of damage, whereas if you just hit them with the holy water, you can just walk right through them.
Is there a way to manipulate, which enemies are when they're going to drop it, or is it more just that you got to get lucky if you don't get that first predefined drop?
Yeah, so there are ways to get different weapons. So in each level, there's like I'm sure people are much more of an expert than me on this subject, so forgive me for my poor explanation, but there's like a series of item drops, and so when you hit the candles or when you kill enemies, they have, some of them can drop these items, and you can tell what item is going to be dropped based on what item is in memory. So there are sometimes chances to get different weapons. So you'll hear like in certain places like, oh, they need to avoid this so that they don't get this weapon that they don't want. But I think sometimes you just don't have the opportunity to get the holy water back or whatever if you lose it. And you just have to kind of make it through with whatever other weapon you have, which is rough.
That was time for Two Snack. Finishing with a race time GG time of 11:58, so sub 12 in the race room. We'll see if we can get them both in for an interview.
Yeah, awesome. A rough end for Daikena with that death, and yeah. It's just, I think it's really hard to come back sometimes depending on where you take a death and how you can recover.
So once again, this is part of the SG Live tournament. Castlevania is one of 3 vanilla speedruns that we have in there. We've got this Castlevania NES, we've got the classic Super Metroid 80%, and we have Mega Man X 100%, which is going to be showcased right after this, so stay tuned for that. It is SG Live is 9 days of speed running tournaments. Started yesterday, over 600 matches for all of our players all together. It's a huge task, but we wouldn't have it any other way.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love watching these races. It's so cool to see, people who are just so crazy good at these games. Yeah, I just love it. I think it's so fun.
And we had mentioned that those are the 3 vanilla speedruns. We also have 2 bingo tournaments where if you've never seen a bingo speedrun, it's about completing certain objectives on the board. Super Mario Odyssey has a triple bingo, which is all about getting 3 lines, and then Super Metroid has a double anti-bingo, which means that your opponent assigns you 1 line you must do, and then you must also complete a line of your own. And then finally, to round it all off, we've got a ton of randomizers. Our 3 main tournaments, Link to the Past, Final Fantasy, and Ocarina of Time, all randomizers. Randomizers are a great thing for speedrunning because it gets you that vanilla game, you get all that tech, but you know what? Sometimes you just never know. And it looks like we are joined here by our winner, Tusnik. I'm going to go and bring him up into the voice booth. Tusnik, congratulations, GG on the win. Was a little bit dicey at the beginning of race 2, but you pulled it out.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, the level 1 in both of my runs were kind of rocky. I just, in the first race, I got hit multiple times. I got knocked back multiple times by ghosts. And I pounded coffee in between the first and the second race. I was like, oh, I need to be more awake for this. But yeah, it was unfortunate to see Daikena's struggle in level 5 because I think our times were really neck and neck until that happened. So that's unfortunate.
It was a pretty competitive race. Race 1 was a lot closer. It was probably frames between a lot of the levels, and this one was back and forth quite a bit.
Yeah, it was. I got lucky. I hit a few of the big tricks. I wasn't paying too much attention to what was happening in Daikena's race, but I feel like in the second race we were neck and neck, and I hit the cave skip. Did he miss the cave skip and fell behind a little bit?
Yeah, the second race he did.
Okay. Yeah, I think he was ahead of me at the end of level 3, and then as I'm finishing up the cave segment, I glance over, and I'm a little bit ahead of him, and I'm like, oh, I think he missed the cave skip. And I think there was some comment in chat like, whelp or F or oof or something like that.
And we're also joined by Daikena. GG's rough
Thanks.
Going on the second race.
Yeah, GG to Snake. Really nice runs. Yeah, on the second, I did some pretty stupid mistakes on both my runs. Mostly on the first boss on the bat. I don't know what I did, but I lost 10 seconds on both runs. And then on the second round, I did the boost on the Fleaman in the level 5, and I missed the jump just afterwards, which is an easy jump. And then I panicked. I got an axe, and I had only 1 HP, so that was rough. I tried to back up with the cross, but I didn't make it.
All right, so yeah, I looked over and I saw that you had the axe, so that was like like you said, just kind of like in panic mode, and accidentally picked it up. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I don't know if you know that, but in that screen, just behind the Axeman, there's a candle with a drop, axe drop, which is fixed. And normally you would go past that Axeman with your invulnerability, but as I didn't have it, I just threw an holy water on him, and it hit the candle and dropped me the axe.
That's really unfortunate because I think if you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I know that I shouldn't have done it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. If you don't get the axe there, you can still recover quite well. I think you'll go a little bit slower at the top of the stairs where the statue is, but that's it. I think the rest of it.
Yeah. I just have to kill the statue. It's like 3-4 seconds. Yeah. But your race was so good. I couldn't catch up, I think.
Thanks. Yeah, we were chatting just before you hopped in, or maybe right as you hopped in. I think you were ahead in the second race until the cave skip, I think. But I got
okay.
Yeah, I think so. But I had good Dracula fights. I got 3 cycle on both both Dracula
Oh,
fights, so that's
nice.
huge.
Yeah.
They were both awkward backups. The first time I go for I went for the 2-cycle and I missed a cross throw, but I still got the crit, so I just had to throw a cross at him, and that was pretty good. And then the second time I went for the 2-cycle again, and I missed the backwards jump, but I got an awkward backup crit on the second cycle.
Oh,
So
you missed the 2-cycle, but you managed to get the 3-cycle.
yeah, that's my favorite
Nice.
thing about the 2-cycle is it's pretty easy to pull out a 3-cycle if you mess up the 2-cycle.
Okay, nice.
But yeah, it's pretty challenging. It's the hardest trick in the game, so I'm not very consistent at it.
Well, GG's once again to both of you. Gonna
Thank
have
you.
to wrap up here so we can give the floor to Mega Man X. Like we said, this is going on all week. Castlevania. There are 6 groups. Each one of them is set to be round robin, and then the top 2 are going to go and move on into the brackets. I would say that both of you are on a very likely to move on to brackets, to that final elimination bracket. And yeah, Daikena, you finished up your group matches. Tusnek, I believe you still have a match against Cantaloupe Me, so we will see how those have progressed.
Yeah, thanks for everything. Good game, Daikena. Thanks, Case Spalding, again for jumping in for some last-minute commentary, and hopefully we'll see you for the next race.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
All right. Well, thank you, Casefald, for joining me on comms in this last-minute thing. We really appreciated your
Yeah.
knowledge and insight into Castlevania speedrunning.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right, have a great day.
And yeah, stay tuned. Mega Man X 100%, Zipferon versus Mivu 24 coming up right next here on SpeedGaming.